Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready for some more Formula 1 D1 action this afternoon as we head to round 5 of this World Championship, where Marko is your new championship leader off of OliX after he missed last round in Zandvoort, and he will continue to miss this round. As we look at the corners, there are 14 corners on this 2.7 mile circuit, 6 to the left and 8 to the right. There's your active aero zones, there's 4 around here. You've got a blind turn left going up to turn 4, so you've got to be careful you don't run too wide and exceed track limits. Here's your starting grid then for today's race. It is going to be Tig on pole position for the first time this season alongside Kiki after a bit of a wet qualifying lap, and we're now going to show you the onboard pole lap. So it was a very nice lap there from Tig to take his first pole of the season, and the first pole that isn't been a Mercedes or a Ferrari. Also a very impressive job there from Kiki to be able to put his racing balls on the front row with the big guys. Question is, will he be able to stay there? As we all know, this is a very aero specific track and the racing balls doesn't quite have the downforce. And I think I'm hearing it's time to head down trackside, so let's go. Right, as we head now to 5 red lights here at the Hungaroring, and it's foot to the floor. We're racing here at the Hungaroring. Nobody jumps the start. Unlike last week, ZX has left the session. I believe he has disconnected as we head into the first corner. Ruggy trying a move on the outside. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle at the back, and Edward has been spun round at the back. And he finds himself all the way down in P21. And Ergo finds himself down into P22. I believe he's also gone as well, because he's also ghosted, unless he's just had a bit of a shenanigan. As Ruggy finds himself now up in a second. He's gone past Kiki. We may have missed that. Edward's gone again. He's gone very deep coming through turn 5. It's gone bad to worse for the man P4 in the standings. As we see a move here, full diver up the inside of Unluck. Parsons has also left the session. I believe we've got another disconnect. Pingu finds himself round at the first corner. Zaharik is in 10th. He's fighting with Smoosha going round turn 2. We've got a move here. I think Steps try to move on Smoosha. Smoosha defending his position rather nicely as we hop on board with the Steps. As it's already starting to rain, we can see it here on the Aston Martin Halo. The rain is here and we're on lap 4 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. So the rain has come a lot earlier than anyone was expecting. Is this going to be a move into turn 1 for P3 in the race? He goes late on the brakes. Kiki leaves the space for the championship leader. And now they're neck and neck going down into turn 2. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Kiki defending on the inside, late on the brakes. Marko trying to go around the outside into turn 3. Up the inside he goes. He's not quite got enough overspeed on the racing balls. That's a great defense there from Kiki, who is not obliged to get out of the way despite having a slight car disadvantage. That was very respectful between the two drivers. As you go back up front, Edward up to P10 after being last the first corner. As we've got a yellow flag, as there's Ollie facing the wrong way out of turn 13. That's very easy to do at that corner. And our first victim of turn 11, of turn 13, is indeed Ollie. Not the X, but the other one. As he's now into the pit, surely to replace the front wing, and he's going onto hards. Last to P10, what a start, yes it is. And Marko surely is going to get past the racing bulls here into turn 1. Late on the brakes he goes, but he goes very deep at turn 1, and Kiki's gonna get back with the up and under, but Marko now has the inside line into turn 2, but Kiki has the overspeed going into turn 3, and he's got the inside line. Kiki still there with Marko as we head into turn 4. And even Dr. Law's getting involved now as Kiki finally concedes P3 to Marko. As there's a moment there, Paul Diver out of the final corner, really struggling with traction, and that allows steps and tilted through. That's definitely just loss of grip on traction. Thankfully he didn't hit anyone. As Dr. Law is also facing problems at turn 2. He's also gone round, I think. He's about 6.5 seconds in front of Marko, was Ruggy. Nearly 7. And yeah, Marko has lost massive time to Ruggy. But this should allow Marko to get ahead of Tig with the Inters undercut. As Marko will come out of the pits in P10. But Paul Diver isn't even that far off him. Paul Diver is very close to the back. He's not too far off of Marko. Is Ruggy getting a little held up by Kiki and Parsons, still on the slick tyres on a wettening track. As there goes Pingu getting lapped by our race leaders. And Ruggy making quick work of the guys on the slicks. He's got the superior traction. He's on the right tyres. As he's really maximising the amount of curb you can take in a turn 7. As I'm sure Ruggy is going to go on to surely dominate the race now, because he's got a massive lead to technically P2, who is in P9 currently. Trying to overtake DJ up the inside into turn A. But DJ holding his ground despite being on the wrong tyres. But I think that just shows you there that they are on the wrong tyres, because Marko's just made quick work round the outside of turn 9. You don't really see, no, turn 10, sorry. You don't really see an overtake there. Marko proving you can do it. Right, now Tig is into the pits. Shaz continues on. Nice one. As Ruggy now only 1.8 seconds behind the Williams. And we can now compare the gap quite fairly between Marko and Ruggy. Except Parsons has also stayed out. And where does Paul Diver come out? The Tig is into P5 and Paul Diver is into P8. Just behind Edward, who just came out of the pits as well. So, if I've done the math correctly, Paul Diver is technically P6. When Shaz, Parsons and DJ all come into the pits. Looking to get back up into P5 as Marko takes about 1.5 seconds out of Ruggy's lead, as Paul Diver going very, very deep through turn 12. And Dr. Law is going to try and hold it round the outside of turn 13. It's not quite doable, but he's got the inside into turn 14. And Dr. Law, does he come out ahead of Paul Diver? Yes, he does. That is a good move there from the Williams. Up the inside of turn 14 to take P5 after Paul Diver makes a mistake. Ruggy should have this in the bag, unless, of course, he gets a little bit trigger happy and makes a mistake as Shaz going to look to send one up the inside of Paul Diver. I think they made a little bit of contact into the chicane as Tilted is still hanging it out as now they wheel lock and they're going into the barriers at turn 10. Paul Diver and Shaz, like they did at Silverstone, coming together whilst trying to go wheel to wheel. Thankfully that is not an intervention, but that is going to wreck both of their races as Paul Diver has front wing damage. I don't see any damage on Shaz's car, but he could have floor damage because they definitely wheel hooked for a little bit. Unluck and ZX are up to P11 and 12 as ZX sends one up the inside of Unluck. There's a little bit of contact there as Unluck has a little bit of a moment as well on exit, and that is him down to P13 as steps going around the outside there of the McLaren driver, and Paul Diver stays out, which is the final points playing position, as we are going to watch that because I think we're about to have an overtake. Paul Diver can go late on the brakes, which I don't think he will, not from that far back, surely. That'd be kamikaze to do it, as there's an overtake there for second. Tig is ahead of Marko. We didn't see it. I will ask if I can have Tig's POV of that. I'd love to see how he did that. Into turn 10 as Marko looking around the outside of 13. He's not quite got the overspeed on the McLaren. Yeah, that's what I'm going. That's what I want to do. I want to do like a picture-in-picture sort of thing, like what they do with IRL. As there goes Marko out of the final corner. He's got the better traction over the McLaren. They're going to go 3 wide down the main straight. Edward backs out of it. Tig later on the brakes than Marko. He's got the inside line though, does the Ferrari. But surprisingly, Tig stays ahead, and it's actually Edward who's going to look to maybe make the move on the Ferrari into turn 2. Marko braking later than the Mercedes, and they stay in their positions. As we got a bit of a 3 wide here, the back tilted on DJ along with ZX. As they're going to go side by side into turn 2. Who's going to brake later? Tilted on the outside line, which turns into the inside for turn 3, but you wash out wide. And Tilted takes the place, and ZX is also looking up the inside of DJ, and he gets past both of them. That is a lovely double overtake there from ZX, who got past DJ up the inside of turn 3 with Tilted's line, and then just out-traction Tilted out of turn 3. That is brilliant there from ZX. Marko should have pit, yes. Unlock gets a 10-second for speeding in the pits. I think he just locked up though. As Edward is going to fly by the Williams, surely up into turn 4, round the outside of the Williams. That is a brave move by the Mercedes up into turn 4. That is the tightest corner to go around the outside on, and he's made it work. So fair play to Edward as Tig goes up the inside into turn 6. He hasn't replaced his front wing though, so maybe the damage isn't as bad as he thinks. But it certainly looks bad because he's lost an entire end play from the looks of it. So it could dry up very quickly as Steps is in, I'm assuming for a new set of inters. Unless we've got a gambler on slicks. But it is still raining, but it's very, very light. And I think, as I said that, the rain has stopped. The rain has stopped falling. And Steps is in for a set of mediums. We have a gambler on slicks. And he's in the Aston Martin. Right. Now we've got someone to keep an eye on. Same with Ibrahim. The Aston Martin's double stack at the back. And normal grip is restored. Boost mode is enabled. It is dry. Both Aston Martins timed that crossover absolutely perfectly, and that works perfectly as well for Marko. Ruggie carries on though, but Marko's going to come in surely for a set of mediums to the end of the race, and he does, and that should mean Dr. Law will as well. So, there was a podium last time out for Williams, which got taken away from them. I wonder if this one is going to stay with them, because surely everyone else is going to come in for mediums too. And they do. As Dr. Law proceeds to gain a little bit of extra time on these guys. I think Tig is starting to struggle with his front wing damage, and this is surely the overtake here for P4 for Edward. Going down into the first corner, Tig goes defensive to the inside. But Edward braking later than the McLaren. And he gets ahead of Tig finally with 3 laps to go. And I'm sure Pingu won't want it, but does Edward have the pace to catch Dr. Law or not? You can see him just about up the road. The gap is 2.6. Does he have the pace to catch the Williams, or will he hold on to take a maiden podium in D1? Edward sets the fastest lap of the race. He has to deploy exactly where Edward is, but also keeps them in reserve just in case he has to defend against the Mercedes, who's now up to within half a second now of the Williams driver. Edward with about the same, but they are very, very close together. And up front, for the first time this season, Ruggie will win a race. He wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Marko will finish in second, but Edward looking to try and get Dr. Law, who defends a little bit too hard into turn 13. They bang wheels a little bit. Marko is in second place, but Dr. Law doing everything to try and hold on to this P3. Does he do it? Yes, he does. Dr. Law, for now, is P3 by less than 200ths of a second. But we'll have to see what stewards think of potential moving under braking, as Shaz looking round the outside of Parsons, and he gets ahead of the Ferrari. And he too gets ahead out of the final corner. As it stands, Ruggie is your man on top, with Marko in second, no problems with them. And as it stands, Dr. Law is on the podium for the first time this season. And hopefully that podium stays, but we'll have to wait and see what gets said about a potential moving under braking at the final corner against Edward. But yeah, well done to the podium today.